Welcome to another episode of the MemcycoFM show. Today, we're tackling, well, a real challenge in the digital world. How do we stay safe when the bad guys are getting smarter, faster, and, more organized? We're diving deep into a recent report that really shines a light on why some traditional security measures are, frankly, struggling, and it explores some genuinely innovative solutions.
Exactly. Our focus today is the Datos Insights Q1 2025 Fintech Spotlight Report. And interestingly, it specifically calls out Memcyco. So we're going to unpack what Datos Insights, they're a highly respected industry analyst. You know what they have to say about Memcyco's, well, fresh perspective on fighting digital impersonation and what's known as account takeover fraud, ATO.
Right, ATO.
Yeah.
And for you, the listener, our mission today is really to cut through the noise. We want to help you understand not just how these threats are evolving, which is crucial, but also what a potentially groundbreaking approach to protecting your digital trust might actually look like. Okay, so the report, it paints a picture of a pretty significant shift, doesn't it, in the fraud landscape. It's not just like the lone hacker in a basement anymore.
No, that's a key takeaway right off the bat.
Yeah.
It's really changed. What's fascinating here and a bit scary is the industrialization of fraud. We're seeing these sophisticated criminal operations. They're leveraging advanced tools like AI-powered phishing kits and even entire Phishing-as-a-Service platforms.
Phishing-as-a-Service, so they're selling these attack tools.
Exactly. It lowers the bar for entry. And it means these attacks are becoming incredibly convincing, and they're happening at a scale and speed that, well, traditional defenses just weren't designed for.
Right. It sounds like the sheer volume plus that level of sophistication, it's just overwhelming the defenses businesses have historically relied on. So if these established methods are struggling, what exactly is the weak link? Why aren't they working as well?
Well, David Mattei, he's a strategic advisor at Datos Insights. He really nails it in the report. He says, and I'm quoting loosely here, credential harvesting attacks have been notoriously difficult to detect, much less prevent. And crucially, awareness of these attacks typically occurs only after damage is done.
After the damage is done.
Yeah. Think about it. Traditional security often waits for a breach, waits for an alert, and then tries to clean up the mess. It's reactive. And that approach is just becoming less and less adequate against these really proactive, sophisticated attacks we're seeing now.
Okay, so reactive isn't cutting it anymore. If waiting until the alarm bells ring isn't effective, what's the alternative? How does Memcyco, in the eyes of Datos Insights, offer a different strategy here?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. Datos Insights specifically highlights and endorses Memcyco's pivot. They're moving toward a fundamentally different kind of customer ATO defense. It's not about playing catch-up after the attack. It's about getting ahead of the threat.
Getting ahead. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their whole approach is built on sort of three core principles: preemptive real-time visibility, proactive protection, and this is the really key part, active attack disruption.
Attack disruption. That sounds much more, active than just trying to block access after the fraudsters might already have the credentials.
It is, exactly. If you think about it, traditional methods often involve scanning for known threats, maybe trying to take down malicious sites after they've been reported.
Right.
Which takes time.
Right. The damage could already be happening by then.
Precisely. Memcyco's strategy, as described, is to operate sort of alongside the attack as it unfolds, detecting the malicious activity, actively protecting the users who are being targeted, and directly interfering with the fraudsters' operations in real time.
So instead of just building higher walls, maybe, they're actively getting in the way of the attackers while they're trying to climb. That's a different mindset.
Really is.
What specific capabilities does Datos Insights point to then? What lets them do this proactive disruption?
Okay, so there are several key capabilities that the report highlights. They really stand out. One is real-time victim identification, which sounds simple, but it's powerful. It means they can immediately identify specific users who have clicked on or engaged with a phishing attempt.
So you know who is at immediate risk.
Exactly. It's like an early warning system for the business, giving them critical, timely intelligence they can act on. Then there's phishing attack and credential theft interception. This is really clever. When a user, unknowingly enters their login details into a fake website, Memcyco can deploy unusable marked decoy data instead of the real credentials going through.
Decoy data. Oh, okay, like fake credentials.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Marked decoy data. So it does two things. First, it prevents the attacker from actually using those stolen details to access the real account. And second, because the data is marked, it can potentially provide clues about the attacker or where they're operating.
That decoy data concept is fascinating. It's like feeding the attackers fool's gold. Looks real, but it's worthless to them and potentially traps them.
That's a great way to put it. Fool's gold. And their capabilities go beyond just reacting right at the point of credential theft. They also focus on early ATO attack detection, using sophisticated analysis to spot suspicious patterns, things that might indicate an account takeover attempt is coming, even before they try to log in, predicting and preventing them before they succeed.
Okay, so trying to stop it even earlier in the chain.
Right. And then there's the problem of search engine scam prevention. They actively work to detect and mitigate those fake websites that pop up in search results. The ones designed to trick users looking for the legitimate site. SEO poisoning, basically.
Oh, yeah, we've all seen those dodgy-looking links sometimes when you search for your bank or something, so they're trying to tackle that, too.
Exactly. Keep those malicious sites from getting that visibility in the first place. And they also employ attacker deception with artificial data, sort of flooding attackers with fake information to confuse their automated systems, waste their resources, make the whole attack less efficient for them.
So making it harder and more costly for the attackers?
Precisely. And underpinning all this is real-time visibility and actionable insight, giving organizations a really detailed, granular view of what's happening. Information about the attackers, the devices involved, the specific users being targeted, the applications under attack. This rich data can then feed into and enhance the effectiveness of their existing anti-fraud systems too. It's not necessarily about replacing everything.
It really does sound like a much more comprehensive and proactive approach. It's not just blocking, it's actively engaging with the threat landscape. The report also mentions something about overt and covert protection. What's that distinction?
Right. Good point. So the covert protection refers mainly to that behind-the-scenes use of the marked decoy data we talked about. The user doesn't necessarily see it happening, it just protects them silently.
Okay, invisible shield kind of thing.
Sort of, yeah. Then the overt protection is an optional feature. It's called a red alert. This can actively warn a user in real time if they say, click on a suspicious link and are heading towards a known malicious site. A clear warning pops up.
Ah, so giving the user a direct heads up?
Exactly. Gives them a chance to stop before they land on the dangerous page. And according to the report, all these capabilities are powered by Memcyco's proprietary tech, specifically something called Nano Defender and Device DNA. Think of Nano Defender as maybe a tiny, lightweight sensor providing that real-time data feed, and Device DNA as a way to create a unique identifier for a user's device, helping distinguish legitimate users from fraudsters, even if the fraudster somehow got the right username and password.
Okay, so proprietary tech enabling this real-time active defense. And this isn't just theoretical, right? The report actually highlights some pretty tangible results that businesses have seen using this. Can you share a few of those examples? They usually help make it concrete.
Absolutely. And yeah, seeing the real-world impact is always compelling. The report points to a top 10 North American bank, for instance, pretty significant player. They saw a 50% reduction, that's half an account takeover incidents after implementing Memcyco.
50%? Wow.
Yeah. And that, of course, translates directly to huge financial savings for the bank, but also, importantly, better customer experience, less hassle for customers, and reduced churn. People leave if they feel unsafe.
Definitely. Okay. Any others?
Yes, there's a large European retailer. They managed to save an estimated $7.5 million per year. How? By proactively identifying and facilitating the takedown of hundreds of fraudulent websites that were impersonating their brand, trying to scam their customers.
$7.5 million. That's not small change. It really shows the scale of the financial risk from these impersonation sites.
It really does. And one more quite different example. A stock exchange. They were apparently able to prevent around $10 million per year in potential stock value manipulations.
Wow.
By effectively blocking fake financial news sites, sites designed specifically to spread misinformation, maybe pump and dump schemes or just sowing financial chaos.
Okay, so fake news sites aimed at market manipulation. That's another angle. These examples across banking, retail, finance, they really drive home the point, don't they? Digital impersonation isn't some niche issue anymore. It's a major, costly problem hitting businesses across the board, affecting their bottom line, their reputation, customer trust, everything.
Precisely. And that brings us right back to the central message from Datos Insights in this report. The absolute importance of preemptive visibility and proactive protection. In today's digital world where these impersonation attacks are so common, so sophisticated, well, a reactive security posture, just waiting for something bad to happen, it's simply not enough anymore.
It feels like you're always one step behind that way.
You often are. Memcyco's real-time approach, as highlighted here, aims to provide that crucial early detection, the active protection piece, and that detailed visibility. All necessary, really, to safeguard digital trust in this constantly evolving threat environment.
So wrapping this up, for you, the listener, what does all of this mean? What's the key takeaway? It really seems to underscore a fundamental shift that's needed, doesn't it, in how we think about and tackle digital fraud prevention. We need to move away from just reacting to attacks after they've happened and embrace a more proactive, real-time kind of defense.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. The recognition from a respected analyst like Datos Insights really highlights the critical need. The need to understand these increasingly sophisticated threats, yes, but also to actively explore these new, innovative solutions. Solutions that can genuinely offer a much stronger layer of protection for your organization and ultimately for your customers who trust you with their data and their money.
Absolutely. So if you're intrigued by this shift, this move towards real-time proactive defense, and maybe you want to understand a bit more about how it could potentially help your organization stay ahead of the curve when it comes to digital impersonation and ATO fraud, well, we encourage you to explore the possibilities. You can always book a demo to see the Memcyco solution in action for yourself.